All right, here we go again. Buckle up. So I probably won't be going to church today. It's actually I'm not feeling too well. I forgot to turn my air purifiers back on. I turned them off for a while last night and didn't turn them on. And I've been reducing my allergy medication because I have been pretty good at keeping them on at night. But I got hit pretty bad last night. Again, Satan's at it too because I needed to go to church to get something done, but I have to do some work there as far as a priesthood, uh, growth and things like that. And I just like not gonna be able to get to it this week. That's okay. They understand it. I pushed real hard to get there through all the other stuff they would want me to do. Paid a lot of money for massage. The rhetoric really doesn't work. As far as Stephen Miller being a world-class hater, I'm glad I don't work for ABC News. Somebody got fired for calling him that and then deleting the post or something. All right. I don't know. They might have requirements when you work there. Right? Not to say anything politically. So the idea of sending people home might work. You'd have to. It would take a lot of work. Where you have to. What you would do is you would, as far as immigrants home for farm and hotel work and those type of things, you send them back, and I mean it has to be a quick process. You might actually want to approve their paperwork before they go. I don't know. Touch Mexico or touch Honduras and then come back. I don't know what you can do, but you're getting too focused on cutting your nose off to spite your face, and that's the biggest problem. Now, again, you're being psychologically operated to do that. Elon is too. His father's way off base. The stress didn't come from the White House. He's been stressed out for a good couple years there. Well, he's being operated, and they did it to me, and I investigated it, and I realized what it was. Okay, hang on. I'm getting weird messages, so something might be hacked to me. Okay, I see. I see. All right, now it should work. Well, it's a USB device that allows for a wired connection to the internet. I'm saying there might not be enough power going to the device. Yes, no, indifferent. See, you've got the charge going there. It says it's enough charge. All right. So again, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with Newsom. Even political, that's the answer. Right. And I mean, and Bass, I mean, to a certain degree, yeah. But again, these are criminals, and Bass said that's where the line is drawn. So she said no to deportations, and she said no to violence against the officers deporting. Why do they have to hide Trump? Because they're crooks. That's why they hide Trump. They know they're crooks. Well, I mean, the idea is to try. You're focusing on the number. Whoever focused you on the numbers, you went nuts, all of you. You're already beating the numbers by keeping the numbers coming in down. Now, as far as voters that would vote Democrat someday. I don't know. Maybe that's what you're focusing on, and well, it's kind of driving you nuts. Right. No, I do believe the Latino community got a little bit too big for its britches. I said that starting about 8 years ago, right? That they have to slow down. And I'd say stuff, so not being rude, but hey, mind your manners, don't do what they say, quote unquote, right? Thank you, Larry. It's racketeering everywhere. That's what's driving. That's what's driving all of this is racketeering, but they're also being radicalized. So again, there is a third party somewhere, Russians possibly, Chinese possibly. Waiting for a message back from the missionaries. I just let them know I probably wouldn't be getting in there to church today. I guess I could send it to one of the brothers. I just had a feeling God had me up late last night monitoring. There's no way I could sleep. So when God gives me an assignment, I got to do it. Right. I know Mike Lee's idea about the way it was in 1900 to the 1930s. I mean, come on. It's just if they get rid of fraud, waste, abuse. But again, we're at a point now. Okay, let me explain it like this, and this is a good way to explain it. I think I'm going to make something to eat here shortly. But if we have a problem, an issue that costs $20,000 to fix, it costs $20,000 to fix. Right? If you want to put a new roof on your house and gut the inside and redo it, and it's going to cost you $20,000 or maybe even 30, whatever it is, that's what it costs. But 10 years down the road, you don't want to make the same mistake. So what do? You spend an extra $10,000 on the roof because now it's going to last 50 years instead of lasting 10 years. So you won't have to do it again. Not only do you not want to spend the money as much as you are spending or whatever it is, but you can also have it done. You don't have to redo it. So government does the same thing. I try to explain this to all of you. Doge is just in there playing a game kind of with what they're doing. They may not know any better. Again, they don't seem to be intelligent to me. They're not intelligently, they may be computer geeks, but they're not intelligently doing it. They have no idea what they're doing. Although some of it was vindictive, and that can get you in trouble also, legally, but also if you vindictively come against something you need, then you're not going to have it to do what you need to have done. Right. Well, the AI is just not intelligent either. And we all know that happens. I mean, AI's been telling me for probably a month now that iPhone has or at least a few weeks, that the iPhone has a noise gate in the app that I want. So I'm thinking that I could do it, but no, there is none. I just remembered that's why I turned it down before. Well, we do need some immigrants. It's just a fact of life. I mean, Trump already highlighted the hotel and the agricultural industry, but I mean, they're baristas and all sorts of people. The key was to vet. And again, that's where it comes in, getting the people out of here that you need to get out of here. Oh, Trump was given a second chance in life, a third chance, a fourth chance. So again, we should model the grace that we received in our lives. Although I didn't receive much from this planet. But I do know how your system works. All right, give me a second here. I got to go do something. Give me a second. I got to go back to the other part of the apartment. I have my incense on, burning incense to the Lord. So it's nice to have the incense warmers. I recommend those. Use liquid incense, like the aromatizer, or a solid incense, the resin, and it lasts a long time actually. Yeah, so Mike Lee's talking about federal spending was this and the state spending was that. It's an entirely different world. I mean, communities were so disconnected even during that time period. Now we kind of, you walk out of one state, and you walk into the next, from a house to house sometimes. So again, it's a different world. It's just getting control of it. Well, there's things that if you reduce, again, it's given that if we don't do a certain level of benefit, that it costs us more money. And but you see, it gets to the point of cutting your nose off to spite your face because, we'll just throw them in jail. Yeah, you could throw them in jail, but it's still going to cost you more money. So again, well, right, and that's where a lot of these other programs come in, where you're trying to get this thing to reduce in size a little bit. There it goes. What can I do here? Trying to reduce the window size of my. Just got juked there. I guess as small as I can make it. I want to see the other side. I don't want to see this side. So how do I get rid of this? What's that do? That's not going to do it. I'm trying to make the OBS window smaller. It only goes so small. Because I wanted to. Oh, actually, I see what I can do. I'm going to keep the audio mixer on its own. So, okay, that's how I do it. And then I take this and I pop that out. I got windows that you can pop out, I see. Satan's like fighting back with my mouse here. Cord got stuck. Okay, so but if I close the window completely, it disappears. Wait. All right. Well, if you do it right, you're not entirely hating on the immigrant community, and I think that's what we're losing here because it's just kind of this rush and haphazardness. Well, because you can gain support from the immigrant community if you're not going to win everybody over, but if you like the people that thought, I'm a good person and I'm doing what I'm supposed to, and I'll get to stay here. Right. And, that wasn't the truth. Well, it's funny. It says, full movie ICE Operation Chaos in Chinatown last night, filmed the police LA. Something that stood out to me, LASD and LAPD are mostly Latino. The ICE FBI last night seemed to have few Latinos. Well, they have Latinos. But what happens is what you're looking at is like what they would call reverse discrimination, but it's discrimination. Obviously, LAPD recruits Latinos because they're bilingual, and the the people that live in that community are Latino. The FBI and ICE represent the greater United States. So you're going to have a different mix. And they have masks on. So again, who's Latino, who's not Latino, you know? I'm surprised that some people are Latino because you have people in Spain that were like fair skinned and all of that, and you have some very fair skinned Latinos. Because some of those lines, made it through. Yeah, the blocking of the vehicle. There should be you should start right now with a federal law that requires a safe distance when the officers invoke it. Well, because if you made it a law, a federal law, that when officers invoke the buffer zone, it's 10 feet. If a van's driving in, they got to stay away from it 10 feet. And if they don't, they get arrested. If it's a misdemeanor, then it's a misdemeanor. But after a couple of misdemeanors, the penalties go up. But I don't know. You could, you could say, I guess that would be like violence, like entering a safe zone with violence or something. I don't know. That'd be resisting with violence once, because that's what'll happen. So what'll happen is, most likely, is that it will kick in that they're not maintaining 10 feet from the ICE van or something like that. I mean, it's for everybody and everything. And then, again, don't play a game. Just slowly drive and all that, and don't speed up real quick and say they're within the 10 foot. So, because somebody will be filming it, and then judge will be ruling it out. But then when you go to detain them, they're going to resist with violence, most likely. So again, it's another charge. Well, you got to do something to make it, because you're sitting there, and it gives them that feeling of they're controlling you. And that's what ruins all this. So I'll put this. I'll share this here on my page. Well, they have to invoke it. Because, cops walk down the street every day, within a foot of people. So. No, Elon just needs to get his head right. It's just not, he's being operated. I know he is, because he did to me. But, Trump people did destroy my life, and they should not have they should have helped me, is what they should have done, versus destroying my life. Hey, money walks and bullshit talks, right? They consider me bullshit, right? I mean, Elon's doing great. I think he's frustrated that the government, a lot of people, even some people who work for him, said the government's not as messed up as we thought. Well, for him, it destroys his mind. He's just too obsessed over it. I told you that going in, all of you. Right. So again, this scenario here, that should be arrestable. I mean, it's impeding at this point, so it is arrestable. Right. But I would just do it easy, and I'd say a federal law requiring a 10-foot buffer zone invoked by law enforcement, I would begin today. Right. Well, because if you pass that, and again, the Democrats won't help at this point, right? Every one of these people can be instantly arrested under that. Right. And again, of course, they could be arrested right now for impeding. Obstructing. Okay, so in this scenario, I don't know what you're doing. Operation Chaos in Chinatown. You're just trying to go to some. Is this leading into a detention area or something? I don't know. It's just an operation. Well, if you fence that area off, I don't know what that, if that's an area you're using or just traveling or. Well, if they have to stand in the street to do that, it's not gonna be as successful for them. It's kind of hovering in a parking lot now. I guess it's Chinatown. It must just be some operation. All right, I'll be back in a second.